this. I'm sorry I didn't have any time to make some more videos last few months because I've been concentrating on my education, doing online courses and working, so it has been quite hectic. But since now I got a bit of more free time, I decided to make a new video. In this video I'm going to talk about Ouija boards, and one of the most often asked questions on spellsofmagic.com related to Ouija boards is, are the Ouija boards evil or good? So asking this question is the same like asking, are the matches good or evil? So basically, match is a match, is just tool, is an object. So it's just a tool in your hands. It has a modal property to set your house on fire or to cook your dinner, you know. So it just sets things on fire, and then you can use this fire for good or for bad. So you can burn your house down, or you can cook your dinner and help it to replenish yourself. So it's the same with the Ouija boards. Ouija boards are just tools in our hands, so it depends of us if we're going to handle them in a wise way, an appropriate way, or is going to be other way around. Of course, despite a Ouija board as sold as normal game, Ouija board is not exactly a game. You know, it shouldn't be seen like game, but it shouldn't be also seen like something that is evil, extremely dangerous, and you know, people try to create sort of air of panic around these objects. So you should handle Ouija boards with care, and it just depends how this tool is going to work for you, what you're going to do with it, and what type of person you are in general. So if someone is very emotional or has gone sort of mental trauma, emotional trauma, and has got a lot of inner issue with themselves, like hidden pain and unresolved emotions and suppressed emotions and unstable character, unstable personality, I wouldn't recommend this type of people using this sort of tool, because if sort of not so nice spirit come through the board or with the help of the board, you can get in real trouble, because you are not able to handle this spirit, this entity with care. You are not able to deal with it in logical and wise way. So it can play on your emotions and hurt you even more emotionally and scare you and freak you out, and you know, bring all this negativity in your house and within yourself. So if you are someone that is really tough mentally, emotionally, then you will be able to handle it with care, of course. So we should see the Ouija boards as magical object that if it's not charged with intent, it's not active. It's just a normal object, and there is no any reason to be any panic around it. So I have been using Ouija boards since I was 14. Yeah, that's early age. I wouldn't recommend so young teenagers trying to work with the Ouija boards, not if they haven't learned their basics in magic, like protection and banishing and grounding and energy work, centering, all these important techniques, and you should know them before you try to work with spirits. And we all know that spirits are good and they're bad, the same like people in general. It's not just good spirits and only bad spirits. So you should know these techniques before trying to open a door or portal within yourself. This portal is not something that is physical and that opens just in front of you, or the boards open it and it's just spirits go through it like that. No, the board and the spiritual work help you, attune you to a state of mind that acts as sort of a portal. So when you're in this state of mind, you are able to channel spirits, or you are able to let go of your body and sort of allow the spirit to step in you and move your hands or the planchette in the case of Ouija board, and write words and sentences. That's how it's working. That's the principle of Ouija boards are working. Now, when I started using Ouija boards when I was 14, remember? I used to do it for some time, and my first teacher, I wouldn't call her teacher, she was just mother of one of the friends of my sister, and she used to live near my house. So she used to do divination on coffee, and even without coffee she's quite a psychic person. So she showed me how to do my own Ouija board very easy with sheet of paper and pen. I will show you how to do it in other video. And I did have a quite good results with it, meaning that I could use it very easy. I could attune very easy, because I'm a person who goes very easy in trance, in this sort of trance that you need to go in order to communicate with spirits and allow them to communicate. And I used to use it for some time, even when with my sister or with my grandmother. But at one point I had an inner feeling of just one of my guardians, I didn't know back then that they're guardians, said to me that it's not safe to do it anymore. You know, I didn't know back then anything about magic. I didn't know anything about grounding, banishing, protection, lesser banishing ritual, the pentagram, and all these techniques. This all was foreign for me, despite I was quite psychic since my early teens. So I did listen to this inner voice, and I stopped using the Ouija board. However, I continue using automatic drawing and automatic writing now and then when I felt I needed to do it. So if you are young teen, and you're still growing physically and you're still developing your brain, and we all know that teenagers tends to think that with their grey matter, they tend to think with the amygdala and hypothalamus. So these parts of the brain are still developing, and they're related very strongly with emotions, which is why teenagers are very emotional people, and they sort of still lack with experience and logic, so they're still developing their logic and experience and everything. So they are easy victims The meaning that when a spirit steps inside you, inside your energetical field or aura, this spirit is able to read you. So if you have some sort of unresolved issue, unresolved emotions, anger, fear, panic, this spirit is gonna know about these things. There is not such scenario when you like the spirit that you are not afraid when you are, because they simply know. So it's almost next to impossible to lie spirit about your inner state of mind, inner state of being. So if you are unstable emotionally, you are going to be very easy victim to this spirit. If this entity doesn't have a good intention, you can get bad nightmares. If you're much more psychic than rest of the people, you can get bad visions. If you are empath, you are gonna get a bad feelings, like feeling for anxiety, pain, danger, sadness, melancholy, fear, even anger. All these emotions, they're gonna get brewing inside you without any obvious reason, of course. And when you're a teenager, it's sort of difficult to say if these emotions are yours or they're coming from this entity that has stepped inside you. It's quite difficult to do this separation, to realize this when you are so emotional and when you lack the experience and you don't know yourself and your skills, your abilities that well. So this can lead to a lot of problems, including lack of sleep, not being able to relax, not being able to study, not being able to communicate properly with people, not being able to share what's happening with you without people saying you are sort of crazy. So it's always better, and I strongly recommend that you are emotionally stable and tough mentally. So that's why you should always first learn your basics, practice them, let them get used with them to such an extent that you are able to do it without thinking, just automatically, like second nature. And then attempt to communicate with spirits, attempt to do necromancy, deal with the dark arts or whatever. And I would recommend also that you have quite a lot of self-knowledge, that you know your emotions, you know your character, you know the way you perceive the world and what is normal and what is not normal, so you are able to tell that you have been influenced by something else, some different type of energy attach itself to you, and this is out of character for you. Also, there are cases, it can be one case out of 100, but some people which are naturally connected with their subconscious and naturally gifted, these sort of people can become partially or fully possessed. And you can tell observing a few major things. First, their eyes. Their eyes are not a normal eyes that you observe, in the meaning that they are not focused. They are sort of looking through you, and sometimes their iris can be quite wide, but it's almost like they're sleeping there somewhere out there and they're not even looking at you really and noticing you. That That's happening because they're in this sort of state that is a trance. The other sign is like their voice can change, and it can change quite slightly or quite significantly, to a degree that you cannot recognize this voice. Also, the way these people walk, the obsessed people walk, is different because they just don't move in the way that they normally move. If you have ever seen a person that is, let's say, sleepwalking, this person doesn't walk in their normal way, despite that they have their eyes wide open and they're able to answer you back when you ask them something, despite they might not give you exact answer that makes a lot of sense, but they're still able to hear you, to answer you, and they're still able to walk and do many of the things that they do when they're in their normal state. However, you can tell that someone is summonable watching these signs, and sleepwalkers are in a very similar state, like a medium or person that is channeling, is sort of state of mind that is not normal. It's a state of mind, state of being that is a trance, as commonly people call it. They hold this state of trance. And of course there are different states of trance. It can be light, it can be deep. There is a one type of trance that you are completely gone. You don't have any recollection about what you have done, what you have said. An example for such trance is, as we said, the state of mind in which you are when you are sleepwalking. So people who sleepwalk a lot are naturally able to go easy in this state of mind. So if you can go easy in state of trance, if you can go into meditation like this, like the snaps of your fingers, or you daydream a lot, or you sleepwalk a lot, then you have to watch out even more if you're using Ouija board or you're communicating with spirits. You need more protection because you're more vulnerable, you're more open toward this phenomena. So I would always recommend, before you start using Ouija board, cast your circle. Set your protection, cleanse yourself before you even take cleansing bath. Try to cast away all the negative emotions, all the things in mundane life that irritate you or make you unstable mentally. And then cast your protection, and always invite only good spirits, like entities and spirits like angels and totems, some of the fairy folks also. You can reason with them and mention that any sort of spirit or entity that comes with bad intent are not allowed to step in your circle and communicate with you. Now, if you are someone who is a lot experienced in the art of magic, you have done necromancy, channeling, automat driving and writing, different sort of divination, work with spirits, then you are able to handle almost any situation because you are stable, you are centered, you have inner power to deal with the spirit that even has stepped inside you and is trying to control you like puppet. if your will is strong, if you have the experience, if you have the emotional stability, you are able to deal with this spirit in most cases. Let's say 95% out of 100. You're able to deal with this spirit, you're able to cast it aside, cast it away, and cleanse yourself and cleanse your house and whatever. And her life goes on. But if you are not experienced and you try to play cool and just throw yourself in this adventure, let's say, that can finish very badly for you. Really, really very badly. And it's just hard to try to explain to people, your parents and your partner, whatever, what just happened to you, why you're behaving so strangely. And not to mention, in some countries you can end up stoned with stones, or just thrown in an asylum or whatever ward that is there for people that have this, that are mentally unstable or have some experience that cannot be explained with the normal means. So yeah, Ouija boards, what I was trying to say one more time, Ouija boards are not a game. Don't take it lightly, especially if you're not experienced. And try to consecrate your Ouija board. Try to charge it positively. You can do it even with the moonlight, you know, because we all know moon is connected with divination. And for first 2-3 years dealing with your Ouija, I would say always take cleansing bath. Try to do meditation beforehand to push aside all negative emotion. This is everything for now, and next video we're going to talk about how to do this Ouija board without paying fortune about it. It's gonna take you maybe 5 minutes, and you're gonna use only materials that are ready available in your house. So that is everything for now. Take care, see you soon, bye!